Morning, all. All right, so busy night tonight in the NHL, one of the busiest nights of the year, 14 games. I think this is the busiest night that I've had so far this season, and it's the start of what will be a few. We have one other 14 game night, one 13 game night, and one 15 game night to round out the season. So we're less than 3 weeks from the end of the season, and this is that accelerated finish. So, going to be some scrambly hockey getting played at points over the next couple of weeks here, and we'll see which teams are left standing in the West. But we have 5 games starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, starting with the St. Louis Blues and the Boston Bruins. This is the first of 2 meetings. They meet again on April 19th. So for St. Louis, they're 42, 20, and 10. Their last 10 games, they're 7, 2, and 1. They've won 5 in a row. Away from home, they're 17, 11, and 6. And their road record seems to be getting better with that winning streak. They are tied with Minnesota, and they are 7 points clear of Nashville. So they're battling it out for second place. It looks like we will probably see a series between Minnesota and St. Louis. That should be a lot of fun. On the Boston side, they're 45, 22, and 5. Their last 10 games are 7 and 3. They lost their last game in regulation. They're 22, 11, and 2 at home. They're 1 point back of Tampa. They're 5 points clear of the Washington Capitals. So for Boston, we'll see whether they can jump into third place or not. It looks like anything beyond third place is highly unlikely because Toronto has kind of run away and hid with second. I don't think they can catch first, but tonight they're at home against the Buffalo Sabres, who have a debuting Owen Power in their lineup, apparently. That's been the rumor. 2 of 3 games have gone to Buffalo so far in this season series. So this is the 4th and final time they meet. November 13th, Toronto wins 5-4, but March 2nd, it was a 5-1 win for Buffalo. March 13th, it was a 5-2 win for Buffalo. So Buffalo's shown they know how to play against Toronto. We'll see how it goes tonight. On the Buffalo side, they're 26, 37, and 10 and 11, I should say, last 10 games. They're 3, 4, and 3, but they've lost 3 in a row in regulation, and it feels like there was a lot of momentum towards Buffalo, and it feels like it's kind of turned against them the last couple of games here. Away from home, they're 12, 20, and 5. They're 3 points back at Detroit. They're 5 points clear of Ottawa in the standings. On the Toronto side, they're 47, 19, and 6. Their last 10 games, they're 8, 1, and 1. They've won 2 in a row. At home, they're 26, 7, and 2. They're 8 points back of the Florida Panthers. They're 4 points clear of Tampa. So, again, pretty solidly entrenched in second place, unless Florida falters, which I can't see that happening. And even still, 8 points is a lot with so few games left. So, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific start time between Anaheim and the Florida Panthers. On the Florida side, they have already beaten Anaheim in Anaheim on March 18th by a score of 3-0. So they'll be looking to sweep the season series. For the Ducks, they're 29, 33, and 12. Last 10 games, they're 2, 7, and 1. They lost their last game in regulation. Away from home, they're 13, 16, and 7. They're 10 points back of the Vancouver Canucks. They're 3 points ahead of the San Jose Sharks. On the Florida Panthers side of things, they're 51, 15, and 6. Last 10 games, they're 9 and 1. They've won 7 in a row, so Florida's playing quite well. At home, they're 30, 6, and 0. They're 8 points clear of Toronto right now for that lead in the division. So, really an excellent season for Florida, and now we're just keeping our eyes open for who they're going to play in the first round. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, what might be the game of the night, and on a night with 14 games, this could still steal the show. Carolina in against the Rangers, a battle for first in the division. And if Carolina won this in regulation, that might be enough then for them to hold off the Rangers atop the division overall. But we'll see. They've split the first 2 games. January 21st, Carolina wins 6-3. March 20th, the Rangers win 2-0. The 4th and final meeting will be on April 26th. So for Carolina, they're 47, 18, and 8 overall. Last 10 games, they're 5, 3, and 2. They won their last game. Away from home, they're 20, 11, and 4. They're 2 points clear of the New York Rangers, 8 points clear of Pittsburgh. So as I said, if they win this one tonight, that'll put them 4 points clear of the Rangers. We'll see where things end up because the Rangers are 47, 20, and 6. Last 10 games, they're 7, 2, and 1. They've won 3 in a row. At home, they're 24, 7, and 4. They're 2 points back at Carolina, and they're 6 points clear of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that should be very entertaining. Looking forward to that. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Washington Capitals. So Philadelphia's actually won 2 out of 3 in this one, and this is the 4th and final meeting. November 6th, Philadelphia wins 2-1. February 17th, Washington wins 5-3. February 26th, it is another 2-1 win for the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers are 23-38-11 last 10 games. They are 3-7. They lost their last game. Away from home, they're 10-20-5. They're 1 point back of the Ottawa Senators. They're 1 point ahead of the New Jersey Devils in what is basically draft lottery standings. The Washington Capitals, 40-22-10 last 10 games. They're 6-4. They've won 3 in a row. At home, they're 18-15-5. They're 6 points back of Pittsburgh for third place in their division. They're 5 points back of Boston for that first wildcard spot. So we'll see how things turn out with this one tonight. Like if St. Louis beats Boston in regulation, Washington beats Philly, those are possible. Then you're looking at a situation where they'd be 3 points back of Boston. Then we start talking about who's going to finish more in the wild card. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. The Pittsburgh Penguins in against the New York Islanders. Pittsburgh's won the first meeting, November 26th. It was a 1-0 win. The third and final meeting will be April 14th. So 2 days from now, they finish this season series. Pittsburgh's 42-22-10. The last 10 games, they're 3-6-1. But they won their last game, and they should be turning things around here. We're getting closer to the playoffs. Away from home, they're 22-10-5. They're 6 points back of the New York Rangers. They are 4 points clear of the Washington Capitals. That's got to be 6 points clear, right? Let me double check. Nope, it's 4. It's 4 points back. So, the Washington Capitals 4 points back of Pittsburgh means Pittsburgh's 4 points ahead of Washington. That's how math works. On the Islanders side, they're 33-29-9. Last 10 games, they're 6-4. They lost their last game. At home, they're 18-13-4. They're 1 point clear of Columbus for that race to decide who's the best of the not playoff teams in the East. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific start time between Ottawa and Detroit. Because of the number of games that are on at this point in the night, it's not going to be a lot of time for me to pay attention to the Ottawa-Detroit game. And I apologize to Ottawa-Detroit fans vehemently. Ottawa's won both meetings so far. They were both in April. April 1st, it was 5-2. April 3rd, it was 5-2. So Ottawa's pretty good at beating the Detroit Red Wings this year, 5-2. Ottawa's 26-40-6. Their last 10 games are 4-5-1. They've lost 3 in a row in regulation. In that 4-5-1, though, 2 of those 4 wins are against Detroit. Away from home, they're 13-19-3. They're 5 points back of Buffalo. They're 1 point clear of Philly. On the Detroit side, they're 28-34-10. They are 3-4-3 over their last 10. They lost their last game in extra time. 18-13-7 at home. They're 8 points back at Columbus. They are 1 point clear of Buffalo. Then we get to 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, where you get 2 more games starting. So, again, at this point, we'll be up to 9. And the funny thing is, when I look at this kind of scheduling, I wonder to myself, like, okay, for people who want to follow everything that's going on, this just becomes too much. So on a night where there's 6 or 7 games on, that's kind of perfect. This just ends up being a lot. And so it takes a lot to digest everything that's happened. So Minnesota's won both meetings with the Edmonton Oilers. They'll meet for the third and final time tonight. December 7th, Minnesota wins 4-1. February 20th, Minnesota wins 7-3. On the Edmonton side, they're 42-25-6. Over their last 10 games, they're 7-2-1. They lost their last game in extra time. They're 19-13-5 away from home. They're 7 points back at Calgary. They're 4 points clear of LA. On the Minnesota side, they're 44-21-6. The last 10 games, they're 7-1-2. They won their last game. At home, they're 25-7-2. They are tied with St. Louis. They are 7 points clear of Nashville. So again, Minnesota, St. Louis, looks like it's going to be those two against each other. It's just a matter of who gets home ice. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific start time between San Jose and Nashville. Nashville's won both meetings, including the only no mercy magnet on this board, which surprises me because there's 14 different matchups. On the Nashville side, they've won October 26th, 3-1 over San Jose, and of course, March 5th, it was an 8-0 victory for them. San Jose's 29-33-9 over their last 10. They're 3-6-1. They've lost 2 in a row. Away from home, they're 13-17-4. They're 3 points back of Anaheim. They're 8 points clear of Chicago. On the Nashville side, they're 41-26-5 overall. Last 10 games, they're 5-4-1. They lost their last game in extra time as well. At home, they're 22-12-0, and I say as well because it feels like there's a lot of teams that have lost their last game in extra time. They're 7 points back of both Minnesota and the St. Louis Blues, but they're only 1 point clear of Dallas, and they're only 3 points clear of Vegas. So Nashville's not out of the woods yet, but I think this is a pretty favorable matchup for them to get the San Jose Sharks. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific start time between the Kings and the Chicago Blackhawks, March 24th. It was a 4-3 shootout victory for Chicago over LA. The third and final meeting will be April 21st. So Chicago is not going to make the playoffs, but they could take an old rivalry with the Kings and maybe help knock them out of the playoffs. LA's 38, 26, and 10 overall. Last 10 games, they're 4, 4, and 2. They've lost 3 in a row in regulation. Away from home, they're 20, 10, and 6. They're 4 points back of Edmonton. They're 2 points clear of the Vegas Golden Knights. On the Chicago side, they're 24, 37, and 11. Their last 10 games, they're 2, 6, and 2. They lost their last 2. That loss against Dallas, it just didn't look like their hearts were in it or something. Anyways, at home, they're 11, 19, and 6. They are 8 points back of San Jose. They are 7 points clear of Seattle. They're pretty far below the playoff line. So there's a way you get there. 9 Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific start time between Seattle and the Calgary Flames. Calgary's won all 3 meetings. So Seattle, in their history, their short history, have never beaten Calgary. Calgary wins 6-4 on December 30th, 2-1 on February 19th, and then they won 4-1 on April 9th, just 3 days ago. So for Seattle, they're 23, 43, and 6. This is their second second visit to Calgary. Their last 10, they're 5 and 5. They did lose their last game against Calgary, right? Away from home, they're 11, 22, and 3. They're 7 points back of Chicago. They're 3 points clear of Arizona for last place in the West. Calgary, 44, 19, and 9 is their overall record. At home, their last 10, they're 6, 3, and 1. They've won 4 in a row. Now their home record, 21, 8, and 7. They're 7 points clear of Edmonton and 11 points clear of LA. It is not that long ago that LA was right up there with them, but Calgary wins 4 in a row. LA loses 3 in a row in regulation. That's how quickly things can change if you see that kind of divergence where one team really heats up and the other one really cools off, which for teams below the playoff line in the West, they're waiting for that to happen. Hasn't happened yet. 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific start time between Tampa Bay and the Dallas Stars. Tampa Bay won this matchup at home 3-1 on January 15th. So Tampa 44, 20, and 8. Their last 10 games, they're 5, 3, and 2. They did win their last game. Away from home, they're 22, 13, and 2. They're 4 points back at Toronto. They are 1 point clear of Boston. On the Dallas side, they're 41, 27, and 4. Last 10 games, they're 6, 3, and 1. They did win their last game. At home, they're 22, 10, and 2. They're 1 point back in Nashville, and they're 2 points clear of the Vegas Golden Knights. So this is a big game for Dallas because they all are. All of them are very big games for Dallas. Then we go to the 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific starts, and we get into the Vegas Golden Knights and the Calgary Flames. Vegas has won 2 of the first 3. Vancouver won the most recent one. November 13th, Vegas wins 7-4. April 3rd, in overtime, Vegas wins 3-2. April 6th, Vancouver wins 5-1. That was in Vegas. This is the final meeting in Vancouver. So for the Vegas Golden Knights, they're 40, 29, and 4 over their last 10. They're 7 and 3. They have won their last game. Away from home, they're 19, 15, and 1. They're 2 points back of both LA and Dallas for either third spot in the Pacific or that last wild card. They are 3 points ahead of Winnipeg, who jumped over Vancouver with their win last night over Montreal. For Vancouver, they're 35, 28, and 10. Their last 10 games, they're 5, 2, and 3. They've won their last 3 in a row. At home, they're 15, 14, and 6. They're 6 points back of both LA and Dallas. And they're 1 point back of the Winnipeg Jets. So again, they need LA to keep losing for them to keep winning. It's put them much closer to LA because, again, LA losing 3 in a row in regulation. Vancouver winning 3 in a row puts you 6 points closer. We'll see if they can keep that up. But they need to beat Vegas, and Vegas could very well have Stone in their lineup. I'm expecting Stone in their lineup just from all the roster moves they've made over the last couple of days. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start time between the New Jersey Devils and the Arizona Coyotes. The first meeting between these two was won by Arizona in New Jersey on January 19th, 4-1. New Jersey's 25, 41, and 6. Their last 10 games, they're 3, 6, and 1. They did win their last game. Away from home, they're 9, 24, and 2, so not a great record. They're 1 point back of Philly. They're 5 points clear of Montreal. On the Arizona side, they're 22, 45, and 5. Their last 10 games, they're 2, 7, and 1. They've lost 3 in a row in regulation. And at home, they're 10, 24, and 1. They're 3 points back of the Seattle Kraken. So, this is going to be an interesting night. It's going to be a busy night. Let me know your winners in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.